Shalom Aleichem, Erev Tov, Shavua Tov, and we come to a very special day today, the 2nd of Nisan, Beis Nisan, which is the day of the Hilulah, the day of the passing of the Rebbe Rashab, Rabbi Shalom Dovber of Lubavitch, was the fifth, the fifth Lubavitcher Rebbe, and he was given the title the Rambam of Chassidus because he went and he actually put an unbelievable special order in all the lofty and heavenly concepts of Chassidut, of Chassidic philosophy, and he put it in a manner that people could learn it systematically, or as we say today, digitally. Um, the uh, the connection that my family has is a little deeper. Is a little deeper than just the fifth Lubavitcher Rebbe, because the place that he passed away and is buried is the city of Rostov in Russia, and this is the hometown of my wife. She should be healthy and well. So during the years, we were able to make it to be on shlichus there in Russia, and we were able to go and visit together by the Rebbe Rashab at his burial place, at his tzion, his office. A very, very special experience each time. And beyond this, I mean, when you have a local tzaddik, like we have here in Svasi, and we have the Ariya Kodesh, and so on and so forth. So it makes things totally different. The map looks totally different as we look at the things that are going on. Nevertheless, um, we want to begin the story of this week, and the story of this week goes into initially a very complex situation between a brother and sister, but with the Rebbe's bracha, everything, as we know, everything clears up, but in the most wondrous of manners. Rev Yaakov, who is from Givat Ze'ev in Yerushalayim, he was going out to the to make a buy, to buy groceries, and he had his list from his wife. But on the way, he decided that he's going to first check the mailbox, because on the way back with all the groceries, it would be very inconvenient to go and to start checking the mail. He goes, opens up the mailbox, and he looks through briefly, and he sees all of a sudden an envelope with a stamp from a law office. And sorry, I had to mute everyone. And it catches his eye, and he immediately decides to go in to see what this is all about. He opens up the envelope on the spot, and he reads through, and it says there that they delivered their condolences in in light of the passing of his mother. And he says to himself, the passing of his mother, his mother passed away 17 years ago. What's going on? And then it says, in connection with this, so there is an inheritance file that was opened, and it bears your name, and he sees his name, Yaakov, his family name, and his Tudat Zeut, his Israeli identification number. And he's thinking to himself, what can it be? This seems very, very, very strange. And then he reads on, and he sees that his sister is also on the same in the same letter. And then he starts to think, well, okay, now I understand. It's his sister that opened up the inheritance file, and all the everything that was till now just frozen, all of a sudden started to float up. Apparently, since he, and even before, but since he became observant, so the relationship between himself and his sister went south. It went belly up totally, and they barely spoke with each other. And even when they did have to speak with each other, it was very cold and very with no care, with no feeling. And he decided, he thought, well, if if I have to get in touch with her in order to go in to see what's going on with this inheritance file, so definitely it's going to be the same thing. And these ill feelings started to rise in his heart and make him feel very not comfortable. But But later, afterwards, he started to think another thought. He thought to himself, well, if there is an inheritance and there's some kind of inheritance that his parents owned some kind of property somewhere in Eretz Yisrael, and they left it to them, he could really use the money because his financial situation was really in the pits. So he thinks and then he decides, and he comes to the point where he has to make the phone call. Makes the phone call to his sister, and the phone is ringing, and finally she answers, and then he's about to speak, and she hears his voice, and she says, "Well, if you're calling about the letter that you probably received from the law office about the inheritance, so there's nothing to speak to me about." Until you pay half of what it costs to open up the inheritance file. It cost me $5,000, and you're welcome to go and to pay the half of it. Send it to me, and then I'll talk to you about what this is all about. And tick, she hangs up. uh, if people never went through these types of estranged relationships, people don't really know what it is to go and to be able to talk to one's sister or talk to one's brother and to receive such a cold shoulder from someone that is a family member. It's terrible. It's really, really, it's horrible. And Yaakov is thinking with all his thoughts, and he doesn't even know, wow, like what kind of inheritance are we talking about? And to go and to invest $2,500 that that he doesn't have, and what's going to be? Uh, the bottom line, he thinks and he says, well, now's the next step. What's the next step? He has to write to the Rebbe. He's Lubavitcher Chassid, and he's going to write to the Rebbe. He writes to the Rebbe the details of the story, and he makes all the appropriate preparations. He goes and he washes his hand, Netilas Yadayim, gives tzedakah, makes a good resolution in regard to the observance of the mitzvahs and study of Torah. He makes the proclamation, Yechi Adonenu, 3 times. He opens up volume 5 of the Igros Kodesh of the Rebbe, the Rebbe's holy letters, and he reads there the following. I'll read and I'll translate. Al kveid toyose sheyichye mutal hachev v'aschus kodesh lekarev es libei v'leiv kol bnei vese shel ochiv sheyichyu le'inyanei Torah u'mitzvahs kechol ha'efshari. It is incumbent upon you. This person is the honorable Torah scholar to go and to bring closer your heart, his own heart, and the heart of the family members of his brothers. May be the healthy and may they be healthy and well, to the concepts of the study of Torah and the observance of mitzvahs as much as possible. Ubli sofek asher im yaved bazeh, and without any doubt, the Rebbe tells him that if he will work on this, midei yom b'yomei, on a daily basis, uve'esios ha'mas'imes uve'nachas, and with the proper words and in a tranquil manner, hine yatzliach b'zeh. Behold, he or you will succeed. Wow, that's a fantastic answer. That he has to go and he has to work with his sister and to go and to do it on a daily basis, on an active basis, and finally he's going to succeed. Then all of a sudden something caught his eye in the continuation of the letter, and it reads as follows: Efshar hadover sha'klunginker. It's possible that the klunginker, in other words, the Yetzer Hara, Yoveilav Betaina, will come and make a claim. Kevan shemuchrachu lekabel me'an yizbar le'el, since he needs to come to this other person and to receive from him tmicha begashmius, material, financial support. Lo yihiu dvarav nishmaim. His words, when he comes and he wants to go into to talk about Yiddishkeit, will not be heard by the other party, by the other side, by the family members. Avo ein davar ken, but it's not so, says the Rebbe. Klal uchlaloi, and totally, entirely not so. Ve'ein ze ela me'atza sayetzer, and this is only coming from the the advice or the influence of the evil inclination. He was stunned. He just could not believe what he just read. And he went and he made the calculations and he said, listen, maybe perhaps there won't be a lot of money coming from this whole interaction, but as far as the Rebbe is concerned, the Rebbe is telling him that it's his shlichus to go and to speak to his family members, in this case his sister, and he will be totally successful in drawing her closer to Torah and mitzvahs, to Yiddishkeit. Well, at this point, he knew that he had to go and to take a loan because $2,500 he didn't have in his pocketbook, and he went and he took a loan because this was part of the Rebbe's bracha that he has to go and he has to follow up. He went, he took the loan, he sent it to his sister, and then he got together with his sister in order to go and to speak about the details. And they went through the entire process of the court case in regard to the inheritance. To say the least, to say the least, the the amount that the inheritance drew in was barely enough to cover the opening of the file and the court fees. So we didn't really have any income coming from this inheritance. But in the course of the court cases, as he came together with his sister at court, they started to talk, and he was, as the Rebbe instructed him, in a more calm and tranquil and pleasant manner. His sister all of a sudden opened up, and she started to talk to him. And from this came the rebuilding of the relationship of the family. And it was incredible. It was like just wondrous because this type of situation was totally torn up for so many years. And here, not only was the relationship mended as the Rebbe instructed and said in the letter, but also his sister started to open up in regard to the observance of Torah, the observance of mitzvahs and the study of Torah, and he was able to go and to bring her closer to the celebration of the holidays at his home, and the story, as we say, all's well that ends well, even though he didn't get the the material the material hachnosa, the material wealth that he was thinking about. Maybe he will in Bezrat Hashem in the future. Nevertheless, that which was much more and by far more important and greater, with no comparison, the reuniting of the family was established. And this brings us to the situation that we're in right now. We're basically 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks before Pesach, and we know that one of the major things in Pesach is that everyone eats the Korban Pesach, everyone eats the Paschal offering together. Everyone eats it in a group. And this is the concept of Pesach. The concept of Pesach is that we bring about a complete unity in the Jewish nation. And who are we to even start thinking about how important this is when we know that the situation in Eretz Yisrael in regard to unity is as it is, and it desperately, desperately needs the rebuilding and the reconnecting between all the Jewish nation. And Be'ezrat Hashem, as we see in this story, the Eibishter should help and the Rebbe should help, that we should have unity in Eretz Yisrael, amongst all the amongst all the Jewish nation, and amongst the Jewish nation throughout the entire world. And the main thing is that this unity should bring about the revelation of the Rebbe Shlita Melech Ha'Moshiach on a good and revealed basis, and teichef umiyad, mamish, 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 immediately now. Yechi Adonenu Moreinu v'Rabbeinu HaMelech HaMoshiach le'elam voed. And we want to wish already from now, we want to wish everyone a kosher and freilich and Pesach, a happy and kosher Passover, and Mashiach immediately now.